Alright, how you been doing? You been calm? Been good? Figured I'd say this now. If you found this video through the algorithm or you're subscribed or whatnot, don't forget to like and subscribe if you are new. Chances are if you found this video by chance that you probably like videos like this, so you might as well subscribe because there's more videos like this to come. Figured I'd say this now before the viewer retention drops off. Now, let's get going. So as the title says, I recently went to AX 2022, and this was my first big con, I'd say, because I've never been to like a Comic-Con or anything like that. This was my first like massive scale like con or anything, and definitely my first big anime con. Now there was an anime con recently here in my town, but very like small scale in comparison to everything else. I knew what AX was, but I didn't really know fully like the scheduling and everything about it. Back in the day, like me and my mom would go down to San Diego and drop off my brother and his friend, and they would go to Comic-Con, but I never went with them. Obviously I was young. We would just go to SeaWorld or some shit. This was very much a spur of the moment decision. Like I heard that AX was happening, obviously, like I saw that the Trash Taste Boys were gonna be there, so that kind of spurred me to be like, maybe I should go. After everything I'm just gonna say, this was definitely a learning experience. So yeah, like idiots, me and my friend like decided the week of the convention that we were gonna go. We bought our passes and then we booked a like 1-day hotel. That's also the thing. I didn't stay for the 4 days just because this was 4th of July weekend when all this was happening, so there were other plans and everything. There was only really the first day, July 1st, where we were able to go, because I definitely want to go back. No matter like everything I'm going to talk about, I definitely want to maybe make this a yearly thing where I go to AX, because this is, again, no matter what I'm going to talk about here, this was so much fun. I digress. We got a little motel just for the night, just so we could wake up early in the morning and just go right to the convention. Obviously, I'm not going to say where I live, but like, we're not exactly close to the LA area. But yeah, we planned all that, said like, all right, I'll see you Thursday or whatever, and then that was that. The days went on, and then Thursday arrived, and then the trek began. We hopped in my car, and we made the journey down to LA, and we made it down, and we made great time, actually, considering, like, our check-in for the hotel wasn't until 3 o'clock, so we had time to spare. Thankfully, I read, like, the email that they send when you buy the ticket, because in the fine print, it says that if you bought your tickets after a certain date, you have to go pick them up, like, at the convention center. Because again, like an idiot, the passes for the event went on sale, like, in April. You were supposed to order it before, I think, like, June 13th or something like that. And if you did that, they would mail them to you. So, but of course, we bought them, like, 4 days before the convention began. Honestly, it worked out better that way, because obviously our check-in for our hotel room wasn't until 3, so we got there at, like, 1, so we had time to kill. Like, we went down and did all that. We got our COVID wristband saying that we are COVID free, and then we went through the whole process that somehow worked out where we got our pass. They didn't give us a lanyard, which again, that's another thing that I will remember in the future. Not that I was at all worried about losing. I mean, I kind of was, just it's like, because if it's just here, you don't have that problem. The anime con I went to earlier, like, they gave us a lanyard with it. You figured AX would give you a proper thing for that, but it's whatever. I just kept it close at all times, because you pretty much only needed it for entering and leaving. There was one section, the entertainment hall, I believe. They were telling us to have your passes, your badges ready, but they never checked them. I guess if you were entering from the outside, maybe. So yeah, we did that. We got our badges, and then we walked and went back to the hotel. It's good that we did that, because I found like a good parking space that was close enough. Because it was funny, like the day before the first day, it was $15 to park in that place, but then the day of, they bumped it up to 30. It was pretty much like that all the way around, because like they know if a convention's happening, pretty much everything was like, oh, 15, 20 bucks for parking, but then the day of it was like 40. I saw one that was like $80 for parking. I was like, my god. But then yeah, we did all that, went back to the hotel, and then just pretty much chilled out for the rest of the night. We watched Jurassic Park 3 and then The Lost World in that order, which that was some fun nostalgic stuff for me. I love those movies. We just hung out, shot the shit, and then just went to bed, and then we're like, all right, we'll wake up at no later than 7, and then we'll get going. I think I slept good, because, I mean, I woke up the next day and I wasn't too exhausted, but yeah, we woke up at 7, and then we checked out of our hotel and then made the trek down to the convention center. We got down there, and of course, it was already packed out the wazoo. Like, there was already a super long line to get in. We went to the west entrance. Like, it took us like 20 minutes just to find the end of the line to get in. Because that's the thing. The one part where it felt a little unorganized was just getting in to the convention. Because there were so many lines for different things. Like, there was the cosplay area, there was the autograph place, which I still don't know if I actually needed to be in that line, which we'll get to that later. And then, of course, there was the west entrance, and then there was the east entrance, which was opened up later. But then, of course, there was the parking entrance, and then there was the COVID, like, if you didn't get your wristband, there was that. We eventually found the end of the line to get into a entrance into the convention. We thankfully learned from the convention that we went to, which was locally around here, that okay, it's gonna be at least an hour and a half, like, before we get in, probably even longer. So my friend, thankfully, like, he decided, you know what, bro, you wait here, I'll go scrounge us some food. So the plan was I would wait in line and just chill out, and then his plan was to run to the nearest McDonald's. He's like, you know what, it's breakfast, I'll go for a McGriddles, we'll just chill out. I waited for about an hour before my friend called me and just like, okay, so the McDonald's, the inside is closed, they only have drive-through. So he attempted to walk through the drive-thru, which that didn't work, obviously. So he then went to a Carl's Jr., which that was another like half an hour. To be fair, once they started letting people in, the line was at least constantly moving at least a little bit, which that is bearable for me. That caused me to not go insane. Because it's like the Disneyland Disney philosophy. It's like, so long as the line is moving, that's fine. Yeah, we pretty much just looped like from the main entrance, like all the way down the street under like the bridge, and then like back out to where we were. Pretty much did like an L shape. So I pretty much did all of that, and then I got to about, if you were there were big like blow up mascots. I got to about there when my friend finally came back with food, and he was just like sweating. He's just like, you have looked like you've been on an adventure. Like, there's always that thing where it's just like when friends leave the line and you're there, where it's just like, it's like you want to get to the front, but it's like, I hope I don't get in before they get back. Like, I thought like surely he'll make it back, but it's just like as we got closer and closer to the front, I was just like, okay, come on, man. But then even then, by the time he got to me, it's like there was still like another half hour before we got in. But because like, yeah, we got in line at like 7:45 or something, and then we didn't get in till like close to 10. But to be fair, looking back, it didn't feel that long. I kind of went into like this just zen state where like my body just like was just mind over matter, and I was just basically sleepwalking. Thankfully, the second we got in, it was kind of, because I could tell conventions when it gets to a point where it's just like they're just trying to get people in, because we had bags, so like we had to do bag checks, but we pretty much just unzipped them and holded them up to them, and they were just like, all right, just go. We'll just go, and then we just scanned our badges, and then we were good. We were in. We were finally in the convention. I didn't really take too many pictures, ironically, because it's just one of those things where it's like, if you're somewhere for the first time, you're just soaking it all in. It's like, looking back on it, there's a lot of people where it's like, I kind of wish I took a picture with like that person, or it's like there was some cool cosplays. There was someone dressed as a blow up Among Us. There's a dude who was full on like Master Roshi, like he was like fully like doing the voice and everything. He had 2 watermelons. But like the pictures I'll show, it's just like they were still good pictures. Like, we still had a great time. As soon as we walked in, I was just taking stock of everything. I was just like, all right, before we commit to going somewhere, let's just take stock. Like, I'm one of those people where it's just like, let's scout the joint, make sure we know where everything is, and then we'll decide to go. Like, obviously the first place we were probably going to go was the Artist Alley. Anime Con that was in our local area pretty much was just that. It was just an artist alley with food trucks. It's like, looking back on it, it's like we really didn't do much. Like, now that I'm thinking about it, it's just like, it's just one of those things where it's like, you don't, like, we were not prepared at all, because this was very much a spur of the moment thing. When we got the pamphlet later, we looked through, it was just like, what was all this, like, events and like exhibits that we just never saw? The only places we ever went were the Artist Alley, and we went to the entertainment hall. We pretty much just walked around the cosplay areas. It's just like, the main thing I took stock of was just, thankfully, like right there was the billboard, or just like the pop-up thing saying, Trash Taste will be having a takeover of Lounge 21. It didn't have a time or anything, but it said they'll be there. Thankfully, the Anime Man like was posting times. I say thankfully, but I was still an idiot. Again, we'll get to that later, but that was the first place we went. We're like, all right, where's Lounge 21? To our horror, we found out Lounge 21 is a bar, so it's 21. You have to be 21 and older to get in. Fortunately, I'm only 20. Again, I found out other stuff later where that didn't even fucking matter, but again, we'll get to that later. So pretty much we took stock of that, and then we're just like, all right, let's just enjoy ourselves, walk around. One of the first things we saw was a massive Luffy ass, so that was good. That was a good a benchmark, just to know, like, all right, if we ever get lost, meet at the Luffy ass. It was just cool seeing banners of just like advertising, like obviously Crunchyroll is a big proprietor of this event. Like, obviously, I think, like, I took a picture of the Kaguya-sama banner, just advertising a lot of stuff that's coming out this season and everything, like Mushoku Tensei and all that. We ended up coming to that area a lot, like, just, like, because that was just kind of like a hub area. I mean, another thing that was interesting was just, no matter what entrance you went into, you saw a banner for Fate Grand Order. Again, I don't play Fate Grand Order. I'm not into all that gacha shit, but, I mean, it's cool to see Fate representation. And trust me, there was a lot of it. Really, yeah, the first place we went from the west entrance, walked over down to the east entrance, and then up to the artist alley. And wow, did it put the artist alley that we had at our local con to absolute shame. Because this was, like, because obviously it's different, because it's like all these booths of, like, company, like there was the Tamashii Nations booth, there was the Toei booth, the Bones booth, the Wit booth, like there was just, then there was of course the 18 plus section with the Faku booth that was in the corner that you actually had to be ID'd for just to walk in, which I get it. It's just one of those things where that's like the first thing IRL where I've gotten ID'd for something I needed to be a certain age for. But either we did all that, and this is one of those things that's like, I didn't buy anything. Like, I didn't buy any merch. Like, at our local con, I bought this really cool, like, Magikarp wall scroll. I bought this cool Ahsoka and Maul artwork, and then from the same guy, I bought this amazing Vegeta 3D poster. There was amazing artwork, but again, this was my first big con. I was just taking it all in. Like, I didn't buy anything because it was just so overwhelming. Like, there was just so much there. It's like, that was just the bulk of what I was doing the whole time, was just soaking everything in, just taking it all in. So yeah, we did all that. We pretty much saw, like, in our first go through, we probably saw maybe half of the exhibit hall before we went out and like, let's look at other things. See, that's the thing, it's like there was a bulk of it, like we were there from about 10 to about 4. Like, we weren't like super like sitting there crazy. Like, there hit a point where me and my friend mainly were just like, I'm getting exhausted. That's the thing, it's like about cons like this, you'll enter one room and you'll just kind of finagle your way, and then you'll get spit out to one exit. And it's like, we were on like some platform floor, which was like just like a platform for like the staircases, where it's just like, later that ended up being like a huge rest area for people. We started thinking about food. The breakfast burned off very fast. Then of course we went to like the food court area, and of course that was absolutely packed everywhere. It's like, so ended up, like, all we did was we went to this little pop-up stand that was selling like these kind of dough balls that were either filled with like bean paste or like custard, but they were selling like this cool like juice that was in like this plastic pouch with a little glow like ice cube. It was meant to be like a glow-in-the-dark drink. I mean, it was just like some cool like apple juice or whatever. I got like the apple, my friend got the white peach. It was a good drink. I actually really liked it. It was really refreshing. At that point I was just like, I need a taste other than water. So yeah, we did that, and then we kind of rested for a good while. My friend like took a nap, and like at that point I was like, all right, I'm gonna go to the bathroom. He didn't even know I left. Like, I took that opportunity, I went to the bathroom, and then I like kind of finagled my way to the artist alley by myself for a little bit. I just kind of like speed ran a bunch of booths. Oh yeah, before that though, we went to like the Kensia Hall. It was where Trash Taste was doing like some signings and stuff, but like we completely missed it. It was where like they were selling like the Anime Expo like shirts and stuff, be like, I was here kind of thing. Kensia Hall was weird because I definitely didn't see like the big part of Kensia Hall. I only saw, like, it was confusing because like we saw a sign that was like pointing like Kensia Hall this way, and we went down this corridor, and then it said Kensia Hall that way, and it's like, is this tiny hall Kensia Hall? Looking back on it, it's like, no, because I saw in pictures, it's like, no, the main Kensia Hall was way bigger, but I was just like a hub area or whatever. We missed the first Trash Taste thing. We'll get him next time, because he said also it's like at 3:30 they're gonna be at Exhibit Hall B, and this is where I became a giga dumbass. I thought I was big brain by thinking like, oh, Exhibit Hall B, Lounge 21 is in Exhibit Hall B, like it's in that area, right? So that must be what it means. Such a fucking idiot. Like, my idea was like, all right, we're not gonna be able to get into Lounge 21, neither of us are 21, so we just kind of sat outside and kind of got like a good, like, cause there was walls, but like there was an area where you could see in to Lounge 21. So I was like, all right. At the very least, we could hear them announce like, welcome, Trash Taste, yay. So like, I was at least gonna listen for their voices and everything. I was like, all right, we're gonna sit here. We sat there for about an hour, and then 3:30 happened. I was like, all right, showtime. Nothing happened. 3:35, 3:40, 3:45. Like, my friend was just like, all right, I give you till 4 o'clock. If nothing happens, we're leaving. And I was like, all right, fine. 3:50, 4 o'clock, nothing. I was like, surely they're not late. And then I looked at the map, and then the dumbassness clicked, and I was just like, oh no. I realized Exhibit Hall B is a completely different area. I stood up like, and my friend was like, what's up? And I was like, follow me. I may have fucked up. And then I just kind of like speedway, and then we went to, and it's fucking stupid because this is the area we came into. I looked up and I saw like exhibit halls this way, and I was just like, I looked at my friend and I was like, fuck. And then we walked that way and I saw Exhibit Hall A, and then I saw Exhibit Hall B with purple lights outside and security blocking the doors. And then I was like, oh no. I looked inside, I saw through the door, and I saw Joey, Connor, and Garnt on stage. I didn't even see them on stage. I saw a teleprompt, or I saw like a TV with them, but I was just like, oh, for fuck's sakes. And that's when the cope started. And I like, someone else was asking, like the guy's just like, hey, can we still like get in or whatever? Just like, sorry. And the guy was like, sorry, we're at max capacity. Like, we're not letting anyone else in. I was just like, fuck. Like, my cope thing was just like, there's no way I would have gotten in, or maybe it was a paid event, but it's like, no, there's no way. My cope is that it was a paid event, or that like I would have gotten in line and it would have been like way too long, and they would have capped it off before we even got in. Copium, I know. I never go places where people, like where no celebrities are, where it's like I expect to meet them. 'Cause like the con we went to, there were some voice actors there where it's like I would love to meet them. The autograph line was very long. I was like, you know what, I'm fine being content knowing I was in the same building as them. But this one, it was like, at least I saw them. At least I knew they were there. I could hear their voices kind of. But at least like when you see that picture that Joey posted where it's just that room outside one of those doors, I was there for a few minutes just seething. Again, there's next year. Again, like I've said, this first day, like just going there, it's taught me. It's just like, you get very little out of going for just one day. Like, so little. In the future, I definitely, next year, so long as no big pandemic happens again, next year I definitely want to get the 4-day pass, have a bunch more people come with me. That way we can split a hotel cost. That's a hotel maybe closer to the convention center, and then that way we can experience everything for all 4 days. Because there was also like other thing, because there was that Trash Days panel, but then for the rest of the 3 days, like there was like Sea-Dog VA and Iron Mouse did a panel, like there was like more Trash Taste stuff, like Giguk and Sid Snap did a panel, like, or like they did a signing. We went into this so blind. I knew so little. I knew Trash Taste was gonna be there, so that was like a big thing for me. I was like, all right, I want to go. And after going to the anime con, like the local one we had, I was just like, yeah, I kind of got the bug for going to cons. But for this, definitely taught me, it's like, do my research. Because that was also the thing, it's like the first day, like from what I've seen, it's like the first day was like the least packed day, and it was still like shoulder to shoulder everything, because Saturday was sold out on the site before we could do anything. The Saturday one was like 10 times worse, and like each day after that looked like so much worse. So then yeah, after like all that copium session, we pretty much like we left, scanned our badges to leave, and I was like, all right, let's just head home. We had a funny thing like reading like one of the, my friend yoinked one of the pamphlets before we left, which we should have done when we went in, but whatever. He read it, just like all the shit that was there. It's like there was someone from like NBC there. And it's like we were just there for day one. Again, if nothing, it was an amazing experience. It was still a lot of fun, but look, it's like, yeah, we now know going forward in the future what to do properly. Thankfully, it's a thing where consistently it's in LA, same place, first week of July or last week of June, like usually. Definitely looking forward to the future when I can do that and have it like just get everything I can out of that experience. So yeah, this is pretty much my AX experience, my first ever AX, first ever big con. This obviously isn't the best tale ever, because again, it was a very small experience. It felt like we got AX light. In the future, as this channel grows, hopefully, like maybe one day the dream is I could be invited to AX. I could have my own panel, you guys could come watch. I wouldn't have to pay for much. Now, either way, I want to make AX maybe a yearly thing. I would love to go there every year, or at least try to, depending on the future and what it holds. And hopefully Trash Taste will be there next year and I can make up for lost time. I have seen that they're going on tour, so if they're doing a tour anywhere locally, I'm sure they'll do an LA thing at some point. I'd love to do that, make up for what I've lost, what I never had. But again, yes, this is sort of giving me a bug to, you know, seek out other events, other anime cons. I see that there's another one in the LA area. It's not AX, but it's Anime Con. Maybe, who knows? It's in November time. I might. We'll see. We shall see. I look forward to it nonetheless. Anyway, thank you for listening to this story. I'm Lancer. Thanks for watching.